don't know that we know anything different than what we thought we knew coming into the season. I think most people thought this Cardinals team is a good team, could be very good, probably not elite, probably will have a very good lineup, worried about the starting pitching. And I do think you started the season off, your first 9 games, against either really good teams or teams that feature either a really good lineup like the Blue Jays, really good pitching. Look at the Brewers pitching staff overall. We're 9 games in or 10 games in, but has been really good. I just think, look, the Cardinals' offense has been really good.
Yeah.
The Cardinals' relief pitching has been pretty dang good. The Cardinals' starting rotation has been, let's be real, awful.
Yeah.
And I don't think people thought it was going to be awful, and I don't think it will be. But I do think it'll be middle of the pack. And when you see sometimes how other elite teams, like let's say their number 3 or 4 guys, how those guys line up against the Cardinals sometimes either 4 guys or like if you're rolling out Miles Michaelis as your 1 against some teams like Charlie Morton and Miles Michaelis, they're probably pretty similar, right? And you look at Freddie Peralta, who probably profiles as the Brewers, number 3-ish?
3.
And he's rolling up against Jake Woodford. I mean, you're looking at it on paper as a gambling man. Who you throwing your money on? Now, yeah. I think you also see maybe you want to throw your money on the Cardinals against any lefty this season because they're going to hammer lefties. They have tons of right-handed pop. But look, the starting rotation is not good. It's not good. And who's been good? One guy. Jordan Montgomery has been really good. And to me, Jack Flaherty has been good, but also pretty lucky being able to navigate his way around 13 walks over 2 outings.
Yeah. Now, here's one for you, Nate. Cards leave 30 runners on base in the last 3 days.
There you go. They're hitting 237 as a team with runners in scoring position. Only 4 of their 18 hits in those scenarios have gone for extra base hits. So they're not moving guys across. And while I think they got out of the gates great with the offense, I mean, they scored 9 in the opener. They won 4-1 on that Saturday, scored 9 more on the Sunday. The offense has been a bit dormant. I mean, in the loss to the sweep to the Braves, they scored a grand total of 7 runs in that series, 4-1-2. They get shut out on Friday night in a game that was just dominant by Woodruff, as you're going to see him pitch against Flaherty. They come back strong on lefty because against the left-handed Lowers, they got a nice win on Saturday, but then yesterday just quiet again.
Yeah.
And you know
6-1.
what? When you talk about that Blue Jays series and you look at that and you talk about how the Cardinals pitching is going so far, right now the Cardinals are 19th in Major League in team ERA right now. The Blue Jays are 23rd. So, I mean, are you taking advantage of a staff in that series that probably has a lot of the same issues and a team that's looking the same way as the Cardinals right now, whereas the Brewers are 3rd in staff ERA out of 30 teams in baseball, and the Braves are 8th. So, I mean, you can have a good lineup, but if you built a lot of your numbers against a staff that's basically even worse than where the Cardinals are at right now, how much do we really know? I think that runners left on base is a huge number. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're leading baseball in average and doing those things like that because you're not getting people home. You're not even kind of generating individual offense by getting the ball over the fence, when you don't have guys on base. So, I don't know. I mean, nothing quite heals you like a trip out to Coors. I mean, it'll be a good time to
go get that mine right out to Coors.
There.
Let that ball float.
We'll see. We'll learn a lot.
It floats both ways, though.
Yeah,
right,
no kidding. No kidding. I mean, you just got to
all float.
This would be a series in my mind that would make you, wow, the Warriors beat the Blazers by 56 yesterday. Sorry. This would be a series in my mind where this should cater towards the Cardinals, though. If you can't pitch, if either team can't pitch, you should be able to out-hit them. I mean, I don't care if you play softball. They could be out here playing.
Seth does.
I do. I wish I did still. But
Coach.
But it can be 15-13 for all I care. Just win. They got to get some W's under their belt.
Just win.
I also think that this is the Cardinals the last couple years. They haven't done well, and not a lot of teams really do well against elite teams. Only a couple teams each year end up having an above 500 record over good teams. I don't think the Cardinals are an elite team. I didn't think they were entering the season. We joked about this where, look, you have opening day, and you're supposed to be like, oh, yeah, the Cardinals are going to win this game. And
they're not going to lose
win
the game.
This series. And we joked around. We said, what do you think the Cardinals are going to be after after the first 6 games. I think we both said either 2 and 4,
Yeah, we did.
which they were. Now, you didn't think necessarily it was going to be win a series, then get swept. But I don't think it should surprise anybody that you're 3 and 6 facing the Blue Jays, Braves, and Brewers. Those are probably all playoff teams. I don't know about the Blue Jays. The Brewers, I think, will probably slide into a wild card spot. The Braves could be the best team in the National League. The Braves are
They're dang
freaking
good.
stacked. But I'm just saying, to me, this doesn't surprise me because I just feel like this is what the Cardinals are. They're a team that they very well might win the Central Division. Who knows? They will probably, just like the last couple years, need reinforcements in the starting rotation around the trade deadline. Doesn't it seem like that right now? I mean, it's really early.
I think it's going to need it before then.
Right,
If it stays this way.
and look, Waino coming back, you're not getting Waino from 10 years ago, and there's probably going to be another injury. So hopefully somebody like Matthew Libator, who's dealing right now, could come up and give you a boost. But I think you're not loving what you're seeing at all from Jake Woodford. Dakota Hudson is not a guy you're just like ready to bring back up to help out.
How could anyone take Cardinals commentary seriously from a guy who doesn't know how many games are in a season? 164 question mark? Who are you guys? He goes, are you guys hiring? Angry old guy. Did I say that? Don't take me seriously. Do I ever say take me seriously with Cardinal talk? Hell no.
Some teams
why I
have
hang
played
out-
10, though.
That's why I hang out with Charlie and Maddie and Nate and these guys, you know?
Michael Bridges played 83 NBA games this year, and there's only 82.
Yeah,
so,
there you go. So you don't.
Could happen. You get
anything
moved
could
around.
happen. I know we love you, angry old guy, but that's my bad.
You should have asked Yogi Berra when you guys
When I
were
was showering together. Hi, Yogi. How many games?
Matthew Libator is off to a good start, but I mean, I think that if we're hanging our hopes on if he realizes his potential this year, that says more about what you got to do too. And yeah, I saw a lot of. I mean, Tyler O'Neill had a turn back up this weekend, getting back out there a bit. But you
How's
know,
Ollie been with decision making?
well, he struggled. That Taylor Mater at bat.
I was going to say that's what I read that in the paper today too.
Yeah.
What happened there? What happened there, Matty?
Well, I mean, the option you've got there is that, and this is what kind of my worry was when you shifted away from the more into the DH. It's kind of a set lineup. You run guys out there, you do it that way. I mean, you had the opportunity to bring in a bigger bat. You know, Mater's on the team basically as the last guy on. You know, so he comes up in a critical point, and you don't go to your bench to get the offense. You could have brought Brendan Donovan in a situation like that. You could have done anything. Instead, you roll with the guys. I mean, I think that's him, you know, playing the odds or whatnot. But, back in the day, if you get to a situation like that, you're going to move him out. You'll move the pitcher spot around in the lineup, and you'll bring another guy in to hit. And I get worried about the strategy of the game being gone that way because you're just kind of looking at it as two separate sides now. And that's, you got to make good decisions. I think most games get won on the field, not necessarily by the manager and what he does, but that was an opportunity where the manager had a chance to make an impact.
And I agree with you. And sometimes I think we focus, media fans, too much on the manager. I understand we all went nuts, and it was a huge story about Ollie versus Tyler O'Neill. And I think sometimes
Did they make the UFC card this weekend?
I didn't see
Oh,
it.
what are
but
we talking about that? UFC
Early
I don't
prelim.
know.
I didn't
that.
know if Ali and Tyler made it the way we talked about it.
Early
Sorry.
prelim.
No, but my point is, like, if you look at all the Cardinals managers in the Bill DeWitt era, they've all had really, really good records. I understand that Mike Matheny fell off, but I think we need to also realize the reason the Cardinals are always good, it's not really because of whoever's the manager that year. Really, it's because of the fans, honestly.
Yeah.
It's because the fans come out 3 million,
Damn right.
3.3 million strong every year, but also it's because of the DeWitts. You can rip on, you can go back to whatever. Jocketty, but also Mozeliak. Okay, Mozeliak hasn't been perfect lately, but your track record under the DeWitts for 25 years is one of the best in baseball.
Yeah.
And so we will focus on what Ollie has to do. Ollie can only work with the folks that he has. And entering the year, everybody said this rotation is lacking. So, like, we can chirp Ollie for decisions. We can chirp Ollie for Tyler O'Neill. Should he have said it? Should he not? It's a fun debate. But at the end of the day, it's the DeWitts and it's John Mozeliak. It's really Bill DeWitt Jr. not wanting to spend for a big frontline starter, which I think, look, everybody else lines up a little better when you have that true ace. The Cardinals don't have that. And that's why on paper, again, if you're a betting person, you just look at these matchups on paper and you never feel really great about the Cardinals going into it because they don't have that dude. Jordan Montgomery's been good. They don't have that dude that's going to strike out 11 guys and just shut you down.
Shove, as you would like
Shove.
to say. I want to see a
Montgomery's
shove.
been pretty good, though.
He has. Patty V chimes in. He's pissed, too. I'm sick and tired of saying we ran into some good teams. Screw that. We won a World Series. You have to beat those teams. It's not rocket science.
You don't have to say it. I did. Keep on moving. But no, I mean, you do have to overcome those teams, but you can't act like it didn't happen, because if you built this record up against teams that were all 2-7 and 3-6, you'd be like, oh, the Cardinals are blowing the doors off people. It ain't the same thing.
Yeah.
You got to acknowledge the nuance of what you're playing in.
The offense is a disappointment. The media built up the Cardinals, and it's a joke. Ooh.
They hit in bunches, that's for sure. Like, I'm looking at the standing or their scores right now from the season. In their 4-game losing streak, 4 runs, 1 run, 2 runs, 0 runs. But they got the number 1 batting average. They're batting .294 as a team, which is pretty incredible. I know it's early. But, yeah, the pitching's not good. They're 19th in ERA. But, you know, the bats do have to be a little bit more inconsistent. They can't get shut out every time they run into an ace.
Yeah.
Aside from Manoah.
Or a really good 3 like Peralta. Like, you got to be better than that. If you're going to be a 94-win team and you're going to win the Central and run away with it like we all pretty much said that they were going to be, you got to beat those teams. But, I mean, again, I think that this year you're going to see a lot different outcomes than maybe what you anticipated going on the old rules, because not only are you going to see these teams and Blue Jays and mixed in, you're going to see the Astros, you're going to see the Yankees, you're going to see the Rays, you're going to see everybody. So, I mean, it's going to really show you early on about whether you're at the level that you expect to be or not. And I like it. It's
I like it, too.
Competition across the board.
I like it, too, man. I like seeing all these teams more often.
I think also we focus so much early in the season. If this was May,
You would not
this was
get it.
July, if the Cardinals went 3-6, we wouldn't care.
You'd be annoyed.
Because it happens all the time.
You'd be annoyed, but you wouldn't act
Right.
like the bottom fell out of the boat and now Bush is falling into the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
But when you start
They'll be
3-6,
all right.
and people are like, "Oh, that means they're going to go 54 and 108 or whatever
I
it
get
is."
that.
Like the Cardinals will probably go 8-3 in their next 11, whatever it is.
Yep.
And you can't really judge a team. At least you got to wait at least a month. You got to see the rotation turn through several times. And again, if this Cardinals team is going to be led by offense, which isn't typical of a Cardinals team, also as the weather gets better, all of a sudden the bats heat up. I don't think this Cardinals team is going to beat a lot of teams 2-1 this year. I don't think they are.
The Cardinals' pitching is worthless compared to the third-rate Central teams. Cardinals need to fire the hitting and bench coaches. Hey, listen, I know it's the beginning of the year, but I like when you guys bitch, man. It's hilarious. Let it out. I'll read it. I don't care.
Open your heart and let that
Let it
hate
out, man. I like it. Not you, Cam. The other new dude said the Cards have played 10 games and had 154 left. Angry old guy. You mean Matty? Or the new and improved Charlie Marlowe?
Some teams have played 10, though.
Technically, I'm the new guy. Maddie's been doing this
Matty's
way
been
longer
doing
than
I've been doing this with Matty for 6
probably
years.
when I was in college still.
God, thanks, Seth.
That was recent.
I appreciate it. 7 more gray hair just grew in my beard right quick.
Bingo, Charlie. Mo's a whipping boy, but it ultimately is DeWitt's call. Sharon. Yeah, I know. Oh, Irish Sean, I saw that. We'll be talking about the UFC fights. We didn't say they were going to run away with the Central. You said Jim Haynes Jr. You also said Jordan Hicks was going to be a pivotal piece to the bullpen. James,
Who did?
Now James is getting involved.
I said he could be. I didn't say he would be. I said
He
could
called
be.
you Matty Jim Hayes Jr.
Well, when
That's pretty funny.
we're running the Missouri legislature from the buffet.
Matty
Yeah, I'm a-
Jim Hayes Jr.
Tell you what, I want a better parking spot then if I'm going to be Cat.
Yeah, no doubt.
I need a better parking
No,
spot.
Out here?
Well, it's okay.
Cat acts like he doesn't get taken care of down there, but he does. Cat acts like he's low to total bull just to say that, but he's not. He walks around and does what he wants down there because he's been doing it for 30 dang years. You know, he'll say, they don't even. Oh no.
Good space to be in.
He's got a good gig.
I'll tell you what, though. Inflation has also hit Busch Stadium parking. Because I paid $40.
Dude.
That wasn't opening day. I paid $40 for that Braves game, which nobody was at.
With Janie Mae?
Yeah.
How was it?
This is the patios lot. It was fun.
Okay.
We got there late.
I saw pictures.
Well, nowadays, I had to pick my daughter up at a certain time. As we get down there, it's already like the game's over. Not only is it already 4-zip, it's the 4th inning. The game flew by.
Yeah.
Get there. My daughter wants to go to the playground. Her friend was there. So I got to watch the Jordan Walker first career home run on the nice little monitor as my daughter was playing in the whatever the hell that little playground is
Oh, they got like a playground there for
in
kids?
center field. Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
it's like one of those things with the tunnels and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even know
with
that.
bacteria-filled
Oh,
tunnels?
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
You get shocked every other step you take.
Just bacteria everywhere. in
But
those
$40
tunnels.
for a
Jesus.
Wednesday, there was nobody at that game
$40?
because I don't care what the announced tickets.
Excuse me.
Like when you have rain creeping the whole day,
Yeah, dude.
that stops a lot of people. I was
Hell
texting
yeah.
Jim. I know I was bothering him because that was the whole Tyler O'Neill. Everybody was talking about that day.
Mm-hmm.
But if that game, you're just wondering, is it going to start on time? Is there going to be a delay? That keeps a lot of people from ever showing up,
You're right. $40.
especially for a Wednesday.
$40. Time to sign Trevor Bauer.
Bring him back. Buy his contract.
What do you
out.
think, Maddie?
Well, he's over in Korea pitching, so I mean, you might have some.
There's
some
planes.
issues there.
We can get a plane. He's not in North Korea. We can get him out of there.
I mean, he's a great pitcher.
What do you think?
I don't see that happening. Though.
No way, Nate. You wouldn't touch
I mean,
that?
I don't know about Trevor Bauer. I'm not quite sure. Look, the Cardinals are going to be a work in progress. I think that everyone with a reasonable mind recognize that some of these young guys are going to have to come into this season and like you get better as the season moves along. You knew that the pitching was a little thin in the starting rotation. Well, you wait and figure out which guys solidify their spots in the lineup, and then you've got pieces, your depth that everyone's raved about, and if you need to make a deal, you can make a deal. But I think overreacting this little into the season is just a little outrageous to me.
Well, let me ask this: we
invite it still.
we're two starts in with Jake Woodford, who's sporting a nice little 9 ERA now. Between those two starts, how much more rope do you have before you do start to look for internal options about trying to get the rotation in place?
I think the report was that Waino threw a 33-pitch bullpen. He'll do another one, I think Tuesday. So I would think they would give Jake Woodford a couple more starts until Waino's back. Like I don't think they'll rip him out right now, just because the timeline of Waino coming back is probably only another, let's just say three-ish starts, and I think they'll give him that shot.
Did anyone get crushed or hurt when those trees fell at the Masters Pizza Wall? No, but dude, it came close. I mean, one guy just missed him. Oh. He would have been donezo. Cards suck because Matty Halliday turned down the Cardinals job. Irish Sean. Matty. I thought Brett Cecil was the worst move Cardinals ever made, but it might be investing in the 30% of Bally Sports, the most garbage sports network I've ever seen. Oh my
Wow.
God. Fatty V.
I'd still vote Brett Cecil.
It's the broadcast fault
That's
also.
pretty bad.
That's funny,
Brett
man.
Cecil.
Cardinal
he had
fans,
a bad
though,
body, man, that Brett Cecil.
They're good at kind of blaming everybody, but the guy you probably should blame. Again, it's all – look, John Mozeliak has made some bad trades. I think we'd all love to see Sandy Alcantara on the Cardinals.
He looked good again this weekend.
Hey, him and Gallen, that would literally solve all of their problems. But also, the man who controls the purse strings is Bill DeWitt Jr. So I think people should focus their attention on him in terms of if you got to pay for starting pitching these days. Look what they gave Miles Michaelis.
Yeah.
He's getting $20 million. Well, it's 16 for the next couple of years. What do you think it's going to take to get Jordan Montgomery to keep him?
It's going to be at least 20 now.
I mean,
that was the thing. If he goes in this year and pitches well and he's that guy, like Jordan Montgomery basically kind of said, hey, I'm open to talk business, but once we get into this year, we're on a different level now.
He's going to get probably 20-ish. And to get somebody who's a true, like a Nola, what's he going to get, 25?
30.
That's a lot of
A
money.
lot.
30, between 30 and 33 probably.
So if you don't grow it from your system, you have to really shell out for it.
Yeah.
Montgomery will be 31 after this season, too.
Yeah, it's perfect time to get yourself about, $85, $90 million.
Good old 85, 90 mil.
Get it in.
Let's go. Getting a new boat. Cardinals may run into a small problem with the escalating parking costs. They don't control those lots, and even if people get free tickets, they don't want to pay those prices. Angry old guy. Good text, by the way.
I wasn't blaming the Cardinals. I was just bitching.
That's a lot of money, though.
For a Wednesday game,
Charlie.
I was like, that should be $20.
Charlie, that's ridiculous.
The prices
People are
always
gonna bitch
seem,
about that.
The prices,
No, I get it.
They always seem like they're up on day games for whatever reason. Like they're up while businesses are open. But $40? There ain't no.
Where do you-
Where am I parking? Center field?
I'm rich, bitch.
This is where, hey, we have these debates about safety downtown.
Yeah.
This factors into my decision, though, because I've said a million times, I've never felt unsafe going to a Cardinals game. But I say that with the disclaimer that I always park in a certain spot. So I will pay more because, and I'm talking about the safety of my vehicle. Mm-hmm. I feel less safe of my vehicle 3-4 lots down. So I will pay the $40. I don't like it, but I will pay the $40. I always try to park in that patio slot because I want to be as close as possible to the stadium.
Damn right. I get that. Do you have your secret spot that you park at, Matty?
Yes, I do.
Is there a couple secret spots, even when you go to Blues games, too?
No, not at the Blues
Nate
games.
has one for the Blues games, right?
I park at Union Station for the Blues games.
Oh, yeah. That's still
Matty flashes them his badge.
Yeah, Matty's like, you know
And
me.
he said- Well,
Matty parks underneath.
At the Cardinals game, I
Next to Chaser.
take my rights holder badge out, and I say, oh, no, it's me. Move over, Mo.
You got to find a good spot going to the Blues games, though, sometimes. Like, you got to, there's always a couple little spots that some of the old Wiley veterans, like a Jimmy Patton, would know. They're there.
Jim Patton.
Hard to find.
Jim Patton's parking by that door that you walk straight into the Enterprise at. He's tailgating.
Where they changed the rule
out.
because he kept going in and out and drinking beer with all his buddies back in the day. He cost them so much money.
He cost the Blues like $100,000 one year.
He would go in and out and refill his beer and go back in for years.
He's the reason why
For
Petro isn't here
years.
anymore, because they couldn't afford it.
For years he would do that. So funny. Why wouldn't you do that?
You know, take every advantage you can get.
I used to meet them when I was sitting out. I'd go party with them before I'd go watch the games. It's Chip Carey's fault. He's so boring and generic. Damn. Throwing bombs around. Dang D-Dog. Is he? I think he's pretty dang good.
He's
I think he's classy. He's got a great voice.
How far
I like
out?
his calls.
How far out can we get this blame? I want to make sure we get something to everybody.
They don't play around, man.
The Blues are rubbing off on the Cardinals?
They're pissed. We got a lot of things going on in this city. Positive. We do. There's a lot
No,
of
we're not focusing on that.
But we don't focus.
That's enough
The
of that.
Battlehawks are kicking at. I know MLS just lost, but like people are spending money. The Blues will have a turnaround. We'll see where they're going to pick. There's some kind of exciting news. The Cardinals are going to turn this around. They're still fun. Jordan Walker setting records or tying records. Like there's still a lot of positivity. But I like it when you guys bitch because it's hilarious. So keep them coming.
I think fans are allowed to. First of all, fans are always allowed to bitch.
Yeah.
It's very early, so I don't think the Cardinals are going to have the. If you go by National League, they're third worst in starting rotation. I don't think they're going to be that at the end of the season, and I think they will address it at the trade deadline. But I think there's a very good chance the Cardinals' rotation is right there, middle of the pack.
I think they got to jump the market this year. You see the Cardinals usually kind of hang around and, over
See
the
what
last
happens.
over the last few years, kind of like get a couple of guys. And I'm not going to, go against what Montgomery and Quintana brought last year. But I think if you wait this year, they'll be in a bad way. I think that if they want to get into it, they're going to have to jump a little bit earlier than the end of July to be able to make the kind of move they need to.
And this is where also you can rip them all you want, but they are positioned very well to make a move. Mm-hmm. They have tremendous depth in position players, especially outfielders, whether it's a righty, a lefty, a Yepes, an O'Neill, a Carlson, whoever, whichever two dudes you want to package with somebody else, you can get. I don't know if it's Shane Bieber, somebody with a year and a half of control. Like that's how the Cardinals. That's how the Cardinals usually do business, though.
Sometimes it's fun to read like the writers in other markets and like the rumors around other teams. I was reading this weekend about Tyler O'Neill and folks down in Miami being like, "Well, Tyler O'Neill could be in a tough spot. Is that somebody that the Cardinals would look at, and what would it take?" And I'm like, "Well, you guys certainly got some pieces down in Miami that I don't think anybody would argue about having here. Won't be Sandy, but otherwise."
Get them in, by the way. I know they're coming in pretty hot and heavy right now. I'll get to all you guys. 855-282-8255. We're watching. Travis Kelce had a bad pitch, man. At least he tried to throw it hard, though. And Lisa wasn't like that, the shuffle, like a Gary Delabate like throw where you are not athletic.
Well, hold on.
If you throw it that way, that was somewhat of an athletic throw by Travis Kelce. Oh, he threw it down. He threw it too hard.
You ever done a first pitch?
Yes.
How'd you do?
Right down the middle, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, Kyle McClellan. I asked Kyle. He brought me in. I wore all black like an idiot, and that's when I fired my agent that night. It was a weird
Talk
night.
about the blame getting around town.
I know.
We got to remember, though, Travis Kelce did start his collegiate career as a quarterback. So for a quarterback, that was a pretty bad throw.
It was a bad throw, Charlie, but it wasn't an unathletic-looking throw.
That was like Colby Rasmus. Remember Colby Rasmus? Could throw the ball 94 miles an hour from the outfield, but he'd always spike it. He'd always just like spike it in the grass.
There's like a tick or something, right? Or a
No, you just kind of you hold on to it a little too long.